Welcome to myviolinrecital.com. This is Diane Allen, the website's creator. What I have here is what I call the rhythm rulers, and a friend of mine who teaches music in the public schools showed me this concept of teaching rhythm, and I just love it. So I made these sheets up, and I'm going to explain what it is. So it says we have a quarter note equals 1 inch. And what this shows is this quarter note, even though it's over here, it lasts this whole duration of time. So obviously we're not talking about any exceptions right now. We're just kind of going with the rules. So what we have in a ruler is this segment is called an inch. However, the numbers are posted right over this line. This line is not an inch. It's this whole segment that's an inch. And it's the same thing with the way they write music. This dot isn't one beat. It's this segment of time when this one starts and this one takes over that makes it a quarter note. So when you have 4 quarter notes, the fourth one will last up until the next measure starts. So here we have 2 counts. Even though it's written here, and in music, you might have another half note written right next to it. However, what you see when you have it with the rulers is that this is actually a duration of time, 2 full beats, 2 full inches. And this half note is 2 full inches. The other concept that we get from this is 1 beat, this is 1 beat, this is 1 beat, and this is 1 beat. Just like this is 1 inch, this is 1 inch, this is 1 inch, and this is 1 inch. But it doesn't say 1, 1, 1, 1 up here. What it says is the first inch, number 1, the second inch, number 2, the third inch, number 3, the fourth inch, number 4. So the concept of, okay, these are all inches, but this is the first one, this is the second one, this is the third one. It's all the same as just like a ruler, the way we count music. So if you had 4/4 time, that's the first beat, the second beat, the third beat, and the fourth beat, but they're all 1 beat long. Anyways, all of this has to be explained. And having this friend of mine show me this, it was like, okay, a picture's worth 1,000 words here, and this really explains it. Now, when you're playing a string instrument and you have to hold the bow out for your half note, you're not going to say 1, 2, and then stop, because then you've only played 1 beat's worth. You have to hold this half note all the way out until you touch the third beat. 1, 2, now it's over on 3. And that's a concept of how to count and hold your bow out. So if you had a metronome or a conductor conducting, they're conducting these lines, but you have to fill in between. The metronome clicks here, it clicks here, it clicks here, but you have to fill in the time in between the clicks. So a note that's 2 counts long, you'll hear 1 and 2 clicks, but you have to keep playing past the second click, and so on. So we have our dotted half up to 3 counts, and our whole note is 4 full counts. It's not, you don't play up to 4, you play up to 4 and past. The next page introduces subdivisions. So, a half inch on a ruler, you'll get a line halfway in between. And in music, many people count with the and symbol. So for eighth notes, you may be counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? So 2 eighth notes add up to 1/4, that could be really confusing. If you say that to a student, how can 2/8 notes add up to 1/4, especially if they haven't had fractions yet in math? So when you see, oh, well, here's a 1/2 inch and here's a 1/2 inch, and the two together add up to a whole inch, it just becomes a lot easier to grasp this abstract kind of way of writing music. Here we have our 16th notes, where we have to, once again, we're taking this 1/2 inch of space and dividing it in half again. So now we have, on our ruler, we have 1/4 inches, and we have these, this particular way of counting would use 1 E and A. So you see our 1s are still lining up, our ands are still lining up, our 2s are still lining up, our ands are still lining up, but now we are adding halfway in between. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. Then we get into our dotted rhythms, which can be very confusing. A 1/4 note with a dot. Well, a 1/4 note is a 1/4 note, and the dot is half of a 1/4 note, or half of an inch, however you want to talk about it. If it's a ruler, you're going to say it's 1.5 inches. Well, guess what? You're going to pass the 2. So if you had a metronome going for a dotted 1/4 note, you are going to hear 2 clicks on the metronome. And then on the and, halfway in between the 2nd and the 3rd click, you will have to insert your 8th note. And then we also take it one step farther and show the dotted 8th note followed by a 16th. And we line it up with our 1/4 inches. So our dotted 8th note is 3/4 of an inch long, followed by the 16th. One of my favorite things I like to do with this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it on the video or not, but what I do, let's take the dotted 1/4 notes, for example, and I'll take the 1/4 note sample, and I'll line it up right over the dotted 1/4, and I'll hold it up so that you can see through the light. The light can see through, and you'll see both images. Actually, it works better if the 1/4 notes are behind. So you hold that up to the light, and you can see the 1/4 notes popping through behind here. And so you can see how 1/4 notes line up with the dotted 1/4 note and the 8th note. So, rhythm rulers, there it is. I've lost my page of triplets, and so I'm not going to be able to post that right now. I will have the this page, the 1/4 notes, 1/2 note, dotted 1/2, and whole note posted on the blog, as well as this one with the subdivisions. It'll be posted under Rhythm Rulers. And as always, thank you for visiting, and happy practicing.